In Baldur's Gate 3, the first major fight you're likely to encounter is when the goblins attack the Emerald Grove. But is there a way to circumvent that fight? This video will answer that question and more through a series of grove-themed experiments, with many of those experiments focused specifically on our favorite goblin friend, Sazza. Plus, at the end of the video, we'll revisit some Healer Nettie experiments, because you all had a few follow-up questions. Sorry, I just learned how to do an explosion effect, so I'm milking it. Anyways, let's start off this video with our first question. Can you sneak past the grove without triggering the fight scene? Alright, so the cutscene for this fight immediately triggers if you try and head for the main doors protecting the grove, but there is a side door not too far ahead where some goblins have ambushed a lone druid, so that's the back route I'm aiming for.
Open the bloody gate!
Only, as you can see, my sneaking didn't fool this cutscene. It triggers automatically, leaving me locked into combat.
Nobody gets in! Zevlor's orders!
That pack of goblins will be on us any second!
What's going on?
Goblins are on our tail! Open the gate, Zevlor, now! You let goblins here? Where is the druid? Please! There's no time!
By the nine hells! Open the gate! Damnable roach! Provoke the blade and suffer its sting.
So my next step was to reset and see if I could find a better angle to help me sneak around the fight. This mostly consisted of me trying to jump up on these rocks like a fool for 10 minutes. Eventually I got tired and decided to go back up the hill near the grove, so I could try sneaking past without prompting the cutscene again. And you know, someone once said that one thing that goes something like, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. Only, this time, I did do the same thing over and over again, and we did get different results, so Baldur's Gate 3 turning me insane hypothesis confirmed.
Open the bloody gate!
Nobody gets in!
I'm gonna fast forward to the end of this cutscene, and you'll see that this time, none of us are actually in combat. I don't know why exactly this time was different than the others. In fact, I tried this, I think, 7 different ways, and only managed to have this happen once. So while I already triggered the combat and failed my original research question, this new position led me to a secondary grove fight themed question. If I trigger the fight without joining the battle and then long rest, what will be waiting for me in the grove come morning? So I'm going to go ahead and long rest here. And I thought for sure either the goblins would have killed everyone, or the grove would have massacred all the goblins. But what I wasn't expecting was the fight to just still be happening after a full night of rest. And as soon as I left camp and returned to the scene, I was then roped into initiative. But I didn't want to do this fight again, and so my laziness alone prompted a third grove attack question. What happens if I flee combat during the grove fight? Alright, now I'm gonna long rest again before we see what happens. Now, I honestly thought this experiment wouldn't make it into the final video because I expected it to have the same result as the last question. But this time around, the battle seems to be mostly over. All of our allies are dead, although the fighting is technically still taking place. Because of that, I tried to sneak around again this way, but Zevlor is one of the few fighting characters still alive, and I guess my crossing through this area was the sign he needed to finish off those last couple of goblins, because at this point we get the same little cutscene we get if we had actually fought this battle.
That was the last of them. Inside! All of you! More may follow! Open the gate!
I did notice Will had died along with Airden and his buddies, which made me sad because I like Will. Which leads me to our shortest detour question ever. Can you revivify Will if you never recruited him in your party in the first place? The answer, yes.
You are a reckoning force. Take a breather.
I want to have a word.
We'll talk soon. You have my word.
Like I mentioned, Eridan also dies if you flee combat, but if you think Eridan is a dick, like me, I guess this is a good way to off him without any consequences. I also popped inside the grove to buy a scroll of Speak with the Dead so I could cast it on Eridan, and I will say, he's a lot more likable in death than he is while alive.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Eridan, Benno, my group, Benno boys. Money enough to buy peace.
Alright, so if you don't want to participate in the grove fight, it's easy enough to flee from combat and come back later. But I still want to see if I can make my way into the grove, if not before the fight starts, then during the middle of it. So to see if this is possible, I'm going to send in Lae'zel as a scout while the rest of my party hangs back. My hope is that it brings Lae'zel into the fight, but leaves the rest of us out of initiative.
Open the bloody gate!
Nobody gets in!
And that's exactly what happened. I ignored Lae'zel completely from here on out, and then one by one had the rest of my party sneak around her like so. And at this point, I was very excited. Like, disproportionately excited probably, because this is such a small victory in the grand scheme of Baldur's Gate 3 shenanigans, you know? But anyways, I guess this is a good point to thank any of you watching this, or any of my other experiment videos, because I wasn't sure if anyone was interested in these kind of small, like, really, really small experiments. And so it gives my heart a kind of warm, fluttery feeling that you're here. So yeah, thanks, love you, and let's never get sentimental again. Anyways, now that we know it's possible to sneak past the fight, let me formally ask our next research question. What happens if we enter the grove while the fight is still going on outside? To answer this, we'll need to enter the secret passage here.
It's rarely a good sign.
Inside, things are already heated, much like my apartment right now because the AC is out, but the goblins aren't that hard to beat, and they're even easier to beat if you switch difficulties to Explorer mode. After the fight, we're going to enter through this door, and bam, wham, thank you ma'am, we've arrived in the grove. Now, first things first, I'm gonna have a little chat with Miss Sazza over here. This is mainly for a later part of the video where we do some experimenting with Sazza the Goblin, because I want to find out if anything would happen if we killed all those goblins in the cave before talking to Sazza. And I also want to figure out if anything cool would happen if we pledge our allegiance to Sazza before the tieflings who want to kill her enter the prison.
Oh, look. One of you found the stones to talk to me, rather than crying and moaning about your dead mates.
But nothing really relevant actually happened, which is why I'm just gonna speed through this. Anyways, if our research question right now is what happens if we enter the grove while the fight is still going on, the answer is probably not that much. By which I mean the residents still think you defeated the goblins, even though the fight is raging on outside.
Next time the goblins come, I'll be ready.
Well met. And thank you for beating back those goblins. Most brave of you.
The biggest change is simply that you get the ability to go and watch the fight happen in real time, which doesn't sound that fun, but kind of is. Like, first of all, it's just kind of hilarious to watch everyone bobbing back and forth like they're mesmerized at some silent disco. But it's also a great opportunity to pickpocket people with zero consequence. Here you can see me fail a pickpocketing attempt on Zevlor, but in the end, none of it matters because he's locked into combat with someone else who isn't me and he has bigger fish to fry. But you can just go around memeing it up, like opening the gate mid-fight and no one yells at you, which is pretty liberating. But when I got sufficiently tired of this, I hopped into the fight and joined along, and the aftermath was pretty much the same as a regular encounter, fighting at the grove from there on out. So now that we've actually managed to see what happens if we enter the grove while the fighting is still going on outside, we can move on to our next set of experiments. Earlier you saw me stop to talk to Sazza briefly, and while nothing fruitful came from that encounter, I did have a few other questions about our favorite little gobbo. Unfortunately for her, most of those questions revolve around killing her.
Don't hurt me, mistress, please.
With that said, what happens if we kill Sazza while in the same room as Arka? And just for a little context here, during the opening cutscene of the Grove fight, we see this dude named Kanan get murdered by the goblins, and while Sazza is not actually the goblin who killed him, his sister Arka is pretty pissed and wants to take out some of her anger on Sazza. Her friend Big M tries to talk her out of it, but he's also not really willing to do anything to stop her. That's where we come in. And normally in the game, you have the choice to either let Arka kill Sazza or to stop her, whether that be physically or through persuasion. And despite how it comes off in some of these videos, I'm not actually that bloodthirsty. So I don't usually kill Sazza, because I think she's a cute little asshole. But I don't know, something about these videos channels my inner Michael Myers. So let's continue on with our experiments and go ahead and kill Sazza right here in front of Arka.
Your aggression has won you no friends. Any further violence could be met with the same. Your violence is drawing the wrong kind of attention. Keep going, and there might be trouble. Your aggression has gone too far. You're being reported to the guards. You were witnessed assaulting someone. You're headed for the cells.
Okay, well, that was an incredibly sad 30 seconds, and I feel
shame.
So let's try again, attempting to be better. This time I bought a burning hand scroll ahead of time, and hopefully that will get the trick done, and I'll be so happy and everything will be glorious and or Arka will get the killing blow and I'll be sad. That was a little weird because I hadn't triggered the cutscene yet, so I wasn't actually expecting Arka to go through with killing Sazza yet. But hey, a result is a result. But we still haven't managed to complete our original Sazza mission question yet. So let's hope that third time truly is the charm. And just to be safe, this time I'll initiate a conversation with Arka and then have another character kill Sazza during our combo.
You ain't gonna shoot me. Your hands are shaking. Need to keep going.
You murdered someone in view of a guard. Perhaps unsurprisingly, you're under arrest.
Okay, so we have our answer. We're arrested just as if we committed any other crime. I do find this a little hypocritical, considering Arka was literally about to murder the same person, but it did give me a follow-up question. Can you kill Sazza without Arka in the room? The first thing I tried was simply to cosplay as the Pied Piper and lure Arka out of the room with music. But while I think I sounded phenomenal, Arka's a hater and wasn't persuaded. So I decided the best way to go about killing Sazza without Arka in the room was to get there before her. I knew this was possible because during the Grove fight experiments, I actually saw Arka running over to the prison while I was headed toward the fight.
Get out of my way.
I thought I might have to sneak through the secret tunnel again, but actually you can beat Arka to Sazza while first coming into the Grove as long as you beeline there. You'll also want to enter turn-based mode after beating her to the prison because she'll catch up to you if you don't. But now that we're here, let's see what happens if we kill Sazza before Arka arrives.
Murdered someone in view of a guard. Perhaps unsurprisingly, you're under arrest. You're free to go. This time. But next time you won't be so lucky.
Got to her first. Damn it!
Now that wasn't too much of a reaction, but it was a reaction. And after 3 hours behind the scenes doing things that didn't get one, I am very satisfied. Satisfied enough to leave Arka behind and focus more on Sazza. Because after killing Sazza for a good few hours, I think she deserves a break. More specifically, a break out of jail. So this time I'm going to stop Arka from killing Sazza and then follow her back to the goblin camp. And I'll leave in a lot of her dialogue on the way, just in case you haven't tried this route before. But if you're only interested in seeing the official, well, not official, experiments, skip forward a bit and meet me near Minthara. Alright, to get Sazza out of the camp safely, we're just gonna go through this tunnel here. And the first time I tried this, I expected it to be a breeze since Sazza is a goblin, but unfortunately, everyone hates her.
Did some bleeding arts show up to save the druid? Okay.
Well, shit. I guess I should have maybe taken care of that glowing monster statue first. So let's try that again.
Did some bleeding arts show up to save the druid? I'll cut you to pieces.
What are you doing? It's me, Sazza!
You and them other idiots mucked up the old raid. The Absolute don't like failures.
I ain't a failure. I'll be an hero when I tell the boss about this place. And you'll be maggot food.
I'll be telling the boss myself. Kill him!
Thought I was never gonna get out of there. Good to be free again, gotta say. Sure they don't. I'll introduce you to my whole tribe and put in a good word for you. See you at the camp. I'll tell the gods what's what.
Goblins ahead.
Well, look what the rat dragged in.
Can it? I know something Ragslin will want to hear.
Yeah? What's that?
I've been in some druid's grove. This one sprang me. Now move over so I can tell Ragslin myself.
Hold on. Where are the raiders?
Dead. Every last one.
Ragslin's drow friend won't be happy to hear that.
She'll be happy enough when I tell her where them loobies is holding up. Let me through.
Hold on now. Is it true what Saz says? You helped her escape that grove?
Yeah, that's right.
Ha! Oranga and Sazza killing druids? Pull the other one.
That's enough out of you. Come on. Gotta let the drow know where them looters is. We'll be heroes.
So the next place Sazza will be waiting for us is next to Minthara in the Goblin prison. And since our next few experiments revolve around this conversation, I'll let it play out once without skipping any dialogue.
Mistress! It's me, your loyal servant, Sazza. I'm back, and I brought a friend.
How thoughtful. And where did you find this friend?
They was in some rickety druid grove, mostly full of tieflings, but them intruders you're after were hiding out there.
I presume you dealt with my prey and massacred the rest.
Well, the thing about that is, they sort of massacred us. This mug helped me escape, though. I say we stick a few holes in her, show how grateful we are.
You feel a cold hand caress your mind as the drow praises you.
Oh dear. Your prisoner is one of the Absolute's favorites, Sazza. A true soul.
Nah, it can't be. They was in the grove, hanging around with the tieflings.
Undercover, no doubt. Carrying out the Absolute's will. Oh, Sazza, you have made a grave error. And it will be your last. My spiders are hungry, little one. But before they feast, tell me where that grove is. And I may yet spare your life.
It's past the bridge, to the east. Big old gate covered in ivy. Don't hurt me, mistress, please.
I will not hurt you. My spiders will have that pleasure.
No, I mucked up, I'm sorry. But I didn't know who they was. They didn't tell me nothing.
A liar as well as a fool. I hope you're at least digestible.
It ain't true! Them's the bloody liars! Somebody help!
Through sheer luck, That pathetic worm has brought me the information I need. And it seems that the inhabitants of the Grove trust you. We can use that against them. You have a part to play in this slaughter.
Return to the Grove. When my raiding party approaches, throw open the gate and signal me.
The fate of the Grove's inhabitants hangs in the balance. Killing the drow here would spare them, but it might be better to face her warband at the Grove itself, on familiar ground. On the other hand, participating in the slaughter as she asks may be the perfect way to earn her trust and access to the cult's inner circle.
Good. Marshalling the goblins is no simple matter, but my warband will be ready to attack by next light. Once we are in position, we will wait for your signal, and then we will break them all.
Come on, Netty.
It is
Time to feed the
We won't let you down.
Okay, this is my first time actually ever encountering the scene, and I started to feel a little bad at this point. So I go to save Sazza, and...
instant death.
Kind of tragic, honestly, but it did give me inspiration for our next research question. What happens if you kill the spiders before Sazza is sentenced to die? Alright, I guess I could just slay the spiders here, but it seems easier to let them free from their cage and then let the goblins deal with them. And now that the goblins have finished doing all my dirty work, let's head back upstairs and we'll see what happens if I choose the same dialogue options as before.
Please!
I will not hurt you. My spiders will have that pleasure.
No, I mucked up, I'm sorry! But I didn't know who they was! They didn't tell me nothing!
A liar as well as a fool. I hope you're at least digestible.
It ain't true! Them's the bloody liars! Somebody help!
Once we are in position, we will wait for your signal, and then we will break them all. Gather the raiders.
Infected like us.
Yes, your ladyship.
Why do they think
We
we're
won't
talking
let you
to a
down.
god?
Interesting. So I guess the answer to our research question is that Sazza will still think she's going to be thrown to the spiders, but since the spiders are dead, nobody bothers to escort her to the pit. And since she's visibly shaking, I tried to whip out the calm emotion spell that I thought I'd be able to use on a lot of NPCs, but somehow never seems to work for me, and this is yet another bust. So time to reset. Since we did technically get our answer, even if it's just Sazza becomes bugged, let's move on to another question. And this time I want to know, what happens if I kill the guards who threaten Sazza and the spiders? The guards who throw Sazza into the pit hang out on the lower floor near Priest's Gut, so I stayed there, but I soon found out that if I killed one guard, everyone else would aggro on me anyway, so I basically had to John Wick the entire prison. And even though I'm in explorer mode, it took me a couple tries. I think the worst and coolest moment was this one right here. Like, what the puffins? I had no idea that could happen. There was even a tiny little cutscene looking thing. And it hurt, but you know I had to restart and use my bard to lure a bunch of goblins to that same spot, and Uno reversed the situation. But anyways, this is not the point of this video, so let's jump forward in time. After killing Jorragslin and crew, I finally made it back to Sazza, but unfortunately, she and Minthara also end up aggroing on me. Only while everyone else was permanently hostile, Sazza was only temporarily hostile. So I decided to forge forward and just kill everyone else but Sazza before running away and returning the next day. And I guess that both encompasses and replaces our last research question, changing it to, what happens if we kill everyone in the prison but Sazza? Alright, so after murdering everyone in the prison and returning after a long rest, let's see what happens when we talk to Sazza, who isn't attacking us right now, which I take as a good sign.
Hello again. Commander's waiting to meet ya. Don't be shy.
Okay, interesting. So she still thinks Minthara's alive, even though she was a part of the fight where the commander died. I kind of wonder why they made her temporarily hostile, but not Minthara, if this ends up being the result, but whatever. Since I wanted more out of Sazza, I tried to bring her back to the grove with me by carrying her, but it didn't go so well.
Your assault has caused panic. You may soon face greater odds than you had bargained for.
Mercy.
Although I did kind of find it funny that while she gave Lae'zel 2 warnings for hurting her, we stopped getting warned after those 2 because the 3rd time is traditionally where she called the guards, and there are none of those left around here. Still, unfortunately, she did die soon after, and legend says here she stands until this day. Okay, so with all that Sazza torment going on, I want to end our Sazza experiments on a wholesome note. So our final Sazza research question is, what happens if you betray Sazza to Minthara, but then immediately pick a fight with the guards?
The kill, on the other hand.
Now, when I do these experiments, by the way, I usually end up using about 8% of my total gameplay. And in one of the experiments I didn't show, I saved Sazza in the Minthara conversation, and then immediately shoot her. She aggroed on me then, which I expected, and I honestly thought she'd aggro again now. But Baldur's Gate 3 proved me wrong. I was so excited when Sazza turned out to be on my side during this fight, and then I got immediately terrified because she has 6 health. But I was actually extremely lucky because Minthara's first move is to cast Hold Person on Sazza, allowing me to cast Sanctuary on her, my favorite spell in the whole game, which is the only reason she survived this fight. Anyways, let's skip to the end of this fight.
That's her finished. An impressive scalp to lay claim to.
Afterwards, I thought that Sazza would be ready to bond with me, but instead, this happened.
You can't do this! We grew up together!
Come on, Sazza, we didn't just murder Minthara together for you to fall to this cuck.
You picked the wrong side, cock.
Anywho, there's more Sazza experiments I could have done, but I also want to get to our leftover Netty experiments without this video being the length of a feature film. So let's move on for now. Alright, we have 3 main questions to answer about Netty, and unlike my other experiments, these questions all came from you. We'll start with the simplest one. What happens if you steal the Wyvern toxin from Netty before she forces you to take it?
Let's get in and out.
Now, I actually did try this one out during my last batch of experiments, but nothing cool happened. But enough that you asked to see what happens in the comments, so I figured I might as well show you.
Little bit of this, little bit of that.
Now that we have the Wyvern toxin and the antidote, I'm gonna jump forward in time to the moment where we get poisoned by Netty, and we'll go from there.
I'm truly, truly sorry. For what it's worth, the poison is painless. It'll be like going to sleep. The door's locked. Neither of us are leaving until this is done. There's no stopping you, is there? All right. Master Halson thought the tadpole was dormant, so you have some time. Perhaps it's only fair I let you use it. But first, swear to me that if you feel any symptoms, you'll end things yourself. Thank you. I truly hope it doesn't come to that.
Okay, so that's basically it. You can hear the doors opening in the background, and although I already had the poison in my pocket, Netty doesn't comment. I'll even fast forward through this conversation to confirm nothing else happens.
Good luck out there. And if things start to go bad, remember the oath you swore. Take it one step at a time.
So research question solved. Now the next question y'all had was, what happens if you steal the diadem from the druid in the secret tunnel and use it to escape? Okay, so here we are. We've made our way to the same tunnel we used to sneak into the grove at the start of the video, and we're ready to grab this diadem. I have pickpocketed this dude before, but I never connected the dots that this unlocks the same stone doors that Netty's diadem does. So thanks for suggesting this in the comments.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I thought I was gonna die down here.
And so far so good, only I forgot that we can't just steal the diadem if Findle is conscious, because he literally sprints away after this conversation. So I'll have to attack him, but it won't change anything in the grand scheme of things.
The Outlander serves Zevlor!
Oh no.
time has come. Remove the outsiders!
Oh no! Let's try that again. Okay, now that we have the circlet, I'll return to Netty so we can see if we can escape back through the doors in her secret poison office.
I'm truly, truly sorry. For what it's worth, the poison is painless. It'll be like going to sleep. The door's locked. Neither of us are leaving until this is done. Stop it! You're not gonna find the antidote. Didn't find a cure, but maybe we can make it comfortable.
And now let's try heading through the back door.
For what it's worth, the poison is painless. It'll be like going to sleep. The door's locked. Neither of us are leaving until this is done. He didn't find a cure, but maybe
Something over there.
we can make you comfortable.
That's curious.
It's opened. I wonder what's back there. Step carefully. There's a trap.
Okay, that's exciting to see. So you can indeed use this diadem to escape Netty, as long as you go through the secret back route and not the front door. But be careful and stay away, or this will happen. Alright, now for the last question of today's video, and the one that also took the longest amount of time to test, what happens if Netty poisons you and then you kill yourself, resurrect yourself via withers, save Halsin, defeat all 3 goblin leaders, and then come back?
I'm truly, truly sorry. For what it's worth, the poison is painless. It'll be like going to sleep. The door's locked. Neither of us are leaving until this is done.
Alright, now that Tev is dead, my party can leave. I had withers resurrect me off screen, and now my party is arriving at Halsin's cell. And if I was experimenting with Halsin specifically, I'd listen to this dialogue, but since this is a Netty experiment video, I'm just gonna zoom through this.
The bear sizes you up. Wary, but not yet attacking.
Pardon the viscera. One should cherish all of nature's bounty, but goblin guts are quite far down the list. You aided a bear without knowing if it would savage you. A true friend of nature. Or perhaps a lunatic. Either way, I owe thanks. I am the druid Halsin. Indeed? Well, not the most opportune moment, but given the lengths you went to, I assume there's some urgency. Come on then, what's the problem? Unless you'd rather wait for an audience of goblins. Oak Father preserve you, child. You're infected, aren't you? The Mind Flayer's spawn. But something's different. You're aware of the monster inside you. You don't bow to the Absolute like the true souls do. How is this possible?
Okay, I was listening to this dialogue because I wanted to see if he'd offer to heal the poison that he inflicted upon us, but he doesn't, so let's skip the rest of this conversation.
May Sylvanus guide your hand. Focus on the leaders. That's all it will take to restore the balance here.
And while I still technically have to kill the goblin leaders to complete this experiment, I do have one quick side question. What happens if Netty poisons you and then you kill yourself, resurrect yourself via withers, make contact with Halsin, and then report back to Netty?
You're alive. There's no way I'm stopping you, is there? All right. Master Halsin thought the tadpole was dormant, so you have some time. Perhaps it's only fair I let you use it. But first, this is a vial of wyvern poison. Swear to me you'll swallow it if you feel any symptoms. Swear it. I hope it doesn't come to that. But thank you. Here.
At a time, Netty. Come on.
Wyvern.
Any word on Master Halsin? Thank the Father he's alive. Please, you have to get him out of there. Thank you.
Okay, most of this dialogue is the same, but I do find it rude that while you can tell Netty that Halsin is alive, she won't immediately offer you the antidote. So I decided to steal it from her, because really, it's the least she can do.
What to do?
I'm cured.
But I forgot that druids suck.
A thief's been picking pockets near here. This would be a good moment to explain yourself.
Anyways, let's finish up the previous experiment. I took care of the goblin leaders off screen, and now we can return to Halsin.
The ringleaders have to die. The very natural order of things is in danger. Thanks to them. You did it. You actually did it. The leader's dead. Praise Sylvanus. No, that's not right. Praise you, my friend. The Grove owes you a debt beyond measure. Killing's never my first choice, but those three were too dangerous to leave alive. And you'll receive it soon enough. Return to the Grove. I'll make my own way there. I can see to some matters there, and we can discuss what comes next amidst more bucolic surroundings than here.
And after speaking with him, let's check in with Netty one last time.
Blessed day. I was worried I'd never see Master Halsin again. I'm still not comfortable with your tadpole, but I owe you a chance. Thank you. I am sorry for that, but the whole grove was at risk. If you're looking for coin, you're out of luck. I'm a healer, not a moneylender, but here, to mend any hurts.
Although an apple and the antidote isn't a huge reward, I did think it was cool that Netty gave us something, and she even apologized, mostly. So to the people who suggested this in the comments, thank you. And if you have any follow-up experiments for the topics covered today, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Anyways, I hope you have a great week, and like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks, love you, probably, bye.